Hello there, good evening. Welcome to Look North. Our top story tonight. The BBC understands that the man behind a fake kidnap plot involving West Yorkshire girl Shannon Matthews has died, aged 54. Also on the programme tonight, a York family failed by British gymnastics after alleging their daughter was sexually abused by a coach. And 40 years of frontline firefighting on film. And a platform to shine. Leeds railway station opens an official busking spot for performers.
And it might not have lasted, but it was a glorious start to the day before the clouds developed. But what about the further forecast looking into the weekend? Join me for the very latest.
Hello, it's Wednesday the 17th of April. Thank you for your company tonight. First this evening, one of the central figures in the kidnap of Dewsbury schoolgirl Shannon Matthews in 2008 has died. Michael Donovan, who was 54, was part of a plot with her mother Karen and kept Shannon hidden in a flat for over 3 weeks. Emma Glasby is in Dewsbury for us tonight. Emma, it's all yours.
Amy, it was 16 years ago that this area was at the centre of one of the biggest investigations ever carried out by West Yorkshire Police. The search for Shannon Matthews ended here in Batley Car when Shannon was discovered by police officers at the home of Michael Donovan and he was arrested. Well, today we've had the news that Michael Donovan has died at a hospital in West Yorkshire. He was the man who, along with Shannon's mother, Karen Matthews, staged the kidnap of 9-year-old Shannon to try and claim reward money. Well, our reporter Richard Edwards covered the story extensively at the time and he now takes a look back at the case.
A freezing February night in Dewsbury Moor in 2008 and a 9-year-old schoolgirl has vanished, seemingly without trace.
Shannon! We want you home!
Her name was Shannon Matthews. Her disappearance sparked a huge community response as people took to the streets to search, desperate to bring back one of their own.
Shannon, if you're out there, please come on. We love you, Tibbets. We miss you so much. We love you so much. Please come home, Shannon.
It's also triggered a West Yorkshire police inquiry which cost millions, saw 800 potential suspects interviewed and saw investigations into the most serious crimes, including murders and rapes, put on hold.
Well, I think there's somebody out there who knows Shannon. Was supposed to probably know me as well. And I just want her home safe, really.
24 days later, it emerged that all along Shannon was being held just a short distance from her home in a Batley Car flat that was home to Mick Donovan, the uncle of Shannon's stepfather, Craig Meehan. Donovan had conspired with Shannon's mother, Karen Matthews, to stage the kidnap to try to swindle a national newspaper out of £50,000 in reward money. Donovan was on a list of people to be interviewed, but the tangled web of relatives and associates around the Matthews home meant it took some time to get to him. Eventually, detectives, after being told Donovan was in but wasn't answering the door, smashed their way into his flat to find Shannon inside a converted divan bed, Donovan cowering beside her. He cut a sorry, dishevelled figure in Leeds Crown Court as he was tried with Matthews on charges of kidnap, false imprisonment and perverting the course of justice, yet stuck doggedly to his line that Matthews had threatened him with violence to force him to go along with the plot. The jury didn't believe them. The judge sentenced both to 8 years.
I think 8 years is reflective of the seriousness of what's taken place, and Michael Donovan and Karen Matthews will have sufficient time now to reflect on the actions over the time that Shannon was actually missing. So yes, we're very pleased with the results.
There have been numerous allegations that others, not just Donovan and Matthews, were involved. As more time passes, it seems less and less likely that the full story will ever come out.
Well, today we have spoken to many of those who were involved at the time in the investigation and the search for Shannon Matthews. They didn't want to speak publicly today because So much time has passed since then and people have moved on. We understand that Michael Donovan died at a hospital in West Yorkshire yesterday. We have tonight had a statement from West Yorkshire Police saying that police were contacted on Tuesday, April 16th and made aware of the death of a man in hospital in the Steeton area. The death is not being treated as suspicious and inquiries will be conducted on behalf of the coroner.
Emma, thank you. Next tonight, an independent investigation into the way a family was dealt with after they reportedly alleged sexual abuse by a former coach in York has concluded that they were treated terribly by the club and that British Gymnastics should and could have done more to support them. The independent complaints process decision found British Gymnastics failed to properly investigate the report of sexual abuse. Here's Mark Ansell.
Oh, what a good performance. That is one of the best that Stan Wild has ever produced.
Stan Wild was British Gymnastics champion for 5 years in the 1960s and 70s and ran a gymnastics club in York. He carried the Olympic torch in the city before the 2012 Games. In July 2020, the parents of Kirsty, not her real name, filed a complaint with the British Gymnastics Independent Complaints Process alleging that the governing body failed to properly investigate their daughter's claim that she'd been sexually abused by her coach, Stan Wild, at York Gymnastics Foundation when she was 10 years old.
I used to absolutely love going to gymnastics, and I think it just completely changed my perspective on what gymnastics is about, because I think I could have been probably really good at gymnastics and I could have really improved.
Kirsty's claims were investigated by the police at the time, but he was not charged due to what the Crown Prosecution Service said was insufficient evidence to provide a realistic prospect of conviction. In a statement, Stan Wild says, "I refute the allegations in the strongest possible terms. I have never been charged with any offence by the police in relation to the allegations made against me." The independent report has found British Gymnastics failed to properly investigate Kirsty's report of sexual abuse. It concluded British Gymnastics could and should have done more to support this family.
It's taken over our life because our fight for justice has been never-ending. For every authority around that we feel should have been able to do the right thing and step in to put things right, have failed to do so.
It's acknowledged everything we've been through for the last, how many years?
8 years.
8 years. You know, we know our story. We know that we've always told the truth, and we know how badly we've been failed as a family.
In a statement, British Gymnastics says, "We can't change what has happened in the past, but we can learn from it and ensure the approach being taken in gymnastics today is very different for those involved. We are acting and doing everything in our power to keep the sport safe now and in the future." After they made their complaint of sexual abuse, Kirsty's family were themselves excluded by York City Gymnastics Foundation for more than a year.
The independent investigation found that the family were treated terribly by the club and should never have been excluded. The report says it is wholly wrong to punish those who have the courage to disclose misconduct, who should be supported.
I think we were really, really mistreated as a family, I think especially because we'd done absolutely nothing wrong.
The club need to apologise to our daughter. She was 10-year-old at the time when she came to us, and to not offer her any form of a written apology, I find it's actually disgusting.
We asked York City Gymnastics Foundation for a reply to this story, but did not receive a response. Mark Ansell, BBC Look North, York.
You're watching Wednesday's Look North, still to come on tonight's programme. 2 award-winning cheesemakers from Sulby Bridge will now have their cheese sold in supermarkets across the UK. Bus passengers in West Yorkshire are the most unhappy in the country, and that certainly was one of the big issues in our West Yorkshire mayoral debate today. According to the Transport Focus survey, only 73% of people they spoke to were satisfied with their journey. the lowest in the country. Our elections team was in Halifax putting voters' questions to the candidates, and one passenger in the audience put them right on the spot. Our political editor James Vincent reports.
Tucked outside the bottom corner of the Peace Hall in Halifax is the Square Chapel Arts Centre. We gathered the candidates and an audience to work out who they wanted to be mayor. The whole point of these debates is to bring voters face to face with the candidates. In the audience was Michael, who wants better buses. He has to get a lift from his neighbour to doctor's appointments.
You all right, Michael?
I am now that you're here, thanks, Flower.
No, you're very welcome.
You know, I do appreciate what you're doing for me. I can't do this on my own.
It seems so silly that there's a bus service that's come so close by. It's only a 2-minute detour.
I know, exactly. And that is the bus stop I have to walk to.
Yeah, it takes quite a while to get there, doesn't
and I'm
it?
in agony when I get there.
Michael got to hear exactly what the politicians would do to help him.
Back to Michael's question, the only way that we can ensure that communities like out in Home Firth are not cut out of the network because those routes are not economically viable, because basically they don't give a profit to the company that then goes back to the shareholders, that we make sure that that profit gets woven back into the network and we build patronage and we make sure that our buses that we buy are accessible.
I've been having a lot of conversations with business about how we can deliver better services quickly rather than waiting until 2027 for franchising, but most importantly how we can make sure the franchising process, which is going to go ahead, doesn't impact the poorest in society through hitting their council tax bills. That's my big concern. So I'm going to pledge today that we will find a way, to bring private investment, more private investment into the bus service to pay for franchising.
First of all, 19 billion for Crossrail, 65 billion for the southern bits of HS2. Where does the money come from? Yorkshire is owed the money from general taxation. We are owed the money for better buses, including buses which are better for mobility issues, buses that can tilt, which have in other countries. Can we look at more personalised service, use a bit of technology so actually it can stop where you live?
Over the past 3 years, we've got a reduced timetable, we've got less reliable bus services, we've got ghost buses that appear on the real-time bus information in bus stops and then disappear while you're waiting for them. What needs to happen is for that £70 million plus that we're subsidising private bus companies with, we need to get better outcomes for it.
To answer your issue, Holme Valley Parish Council has got a partnership with the Combined Authority. And why not have a special taxi service which is paid for by the parish council to enable you to get to and from places, but not just you, other people who need services as well.
Sounds like an issue of unimaginative and uniform timetabling by the bus companies. I also live in a small village in South Kirklees and I'm very familiar with that problem. The bus timetables don't fit around the reality of people's lives.
Transport, just one of the many issues we talked about in Halifax today. The full debate you can watch after the 10 o'clock news tonight. James Vincent, BBC Look North, Halifax.
And as James mentioned there, you can see the full debate for West Yorkshire's Mayor tonight on BBC One at 10:40 p.m. and it's also on the BBC iPlayer and BBC Sounds too. Let's take a look at some other stories coming into our newsroom this evening. Police have arrested 2 people on suspicion of murder following the death of a man in Bradford. Officers were called to an address in Shetland Close yesterday afternoon where the man was found dead. Police say inquiries are underway to identify the victim. A 26-year-old man and a 52-year-old woman were arrested and remain in custody. Officers are carrying out reassurance patrols in the area. Just a couple of hours after Rotherham United announced they've sacked their boss, they've replaced him with one of the club's former managers. The Millers parted company with Liam Richardson 2 weeks after being relegated to League One. They've now brought back Steve Evans, who last led the team between 2012 and 2015. Now, an exhibition is taking place featuring photos from South Yorkshire Fire and Rescue's very own photographer. He has been snapping fires and rescues for almost 40 years, but says the main reason he does it is to shine a light on the firefighters who put their lives in danger to keep all of us safe. Ollie Constable has been to meet him.
You never quite know what you're going to. You never know when you're going to go.
Tim Ansell isn't a firefighter. His job instead is to photograph some of the most devastating fires across South Yorkshire.
Be it for fire investigation, be it for media or training purposes.
His photos are a striking look into what firefighters tackle every day, from house fires to water rescues to moorland blazes.
I've got so much respect for the fire service and the people that come and do the job through the years, and through my lens, you see so much change. So Mark, that their work, the great work that the fire service do, don't get hidden.
And he's seen a lot of change since he's been doing the role informally since 1985. The appliances, the stations, the uniforms, but one thing has always been the same.
It's people that want to help, and that's what the fire service is. It's all about making somebody's bad day that little bit better.
He'd wanted to be a firefighter ever since he was young, but an issue with his eyesight meant he'd have to settle for a role behind the scenes.
And they said that I'm afraid your eyesight doesn't quite meet requirements.
When you were told that, how did it make you feel?
Crushed. Felt crushed. And I've ended up being the photographer, so I've got a keen eye somewhere.
Tim's captured some defining moments in the county's history. Nightclub fires in Sheffield to schools burning in Doncaster.
You are getting an absolute unique view. We are telling a story, if you like, of what the Fire and Rescue Service are doing in South Yorkshire.
There's been a fire photographer in the 70s and 80s, but it was phased out until Tim took it on in 2009.
Albeit on an as and when basis, and I'm very proud to carry that out.
His pictures tell the stories of the brave people who put themselves in danger. Their work captured. Ollie Constable, BBC Look North, Sheffield.
Some incredible images there. Now, can you imagine having to flee a war-torn country with a young family and to make a new life in a place where all your previous qualifications and experience count for nothing? Well, that's exactly what happened to my next guests, Razana and Rajid. But they have turned it around in spectacular fashion, creating their very own cheese-making business right here in Yorkshire. And now they've just won a competition and a massive contract to get their product in every Aldi supermarket in the country. Here is the moment they found out.
And so the winner is Yorkshire Dharma cheese.
Yes! We did it. Yes. We did it. Yeah. I'm so happy. I can't believe that. We really made it.
Well done. You've got an excellent product.
Thank you. I'm very proud of you. I'm very, very proud of my wife.
Oh, what a moment. How much does it mean to you both to win this competition?
It wasn't an easy thing. It's really big thing because it's like someone who is learning how to crawl, then you find yourself you are running. It's just going to the next professional level, getting the aspiration of the business instead of keep it artisan and just organically growing business.
You said that you started by crawling, and you really did, didn't you? Because you had to leave your life in Syria 12 years ago and start completely from scratch, Rajid.
Completely different type of business. I am in engineering, and I used to supply pharmaceuticals, food industries, and Razan was studying pharmacology, and we were working in lab. So absolutely too far away from what we are doing now. But life is not steady. We have to be very flexible, and here we are making cheese, and we managed to be in the #1 maybe retailer in supermarkets in the UK. One of the biggest retailers in the UK.
Yeah, you're absolutely excelling, but you used those skills, didn't you?
Yes.
From your previous jobs to create this business. Tell us how that works.
It's, you know, when we left Syria, that's correct, we left with nothing, but we had an asset. It's our heritage, our civilization, and our education. And this is what helped us. And this one, I always, like, you find the humanity is superior, that the material things like money can't make humanity, but it will work opposite way. And this is when we found ourselves with this lovely place, actually. To be honest, being in Yorkshire, I don't know if this is the case or not, but this is what I believe, made us feel really relaxed, very welcoming, and we felt at home. And to settle, you really need to feel that you are connected to this place. And this is what happened with Yorkshire Dama cheese when we started.
You're so entrepreneurial, aren't you? Because you used an old broken ice cream maker to create the machine that's in your kitchen.
Yes. When you have little budget, we have absolutely, at that time, we have no budget. So you have to create, to use everything we want to make cheese, and we have to modify anything we found. So it was an ice cream machine that doesn't work. It was faulty, so I used only the as a pot. It's replacing the cooling system with heating system, and we managed. We were using it for a year in production.
That's Yorkshire thriftiness, that is.
Yes.
And very briefly, how have you had to upscale things now that you've got this Aldi contract? Because you are producing 400,000 pieces of cheese.
Yeah. Actually, we had, first of all, to employ more people. So since last month, we employed another 11 person. We are now between 16 and 17 person working all together at the factory. We had to reorganize things. We've done lots of technical work in our facility. We've done lots of development as well. But we are in a very tight still space. We couldn't deliver all the contract. It's 400,000 rolls.
Gosh, that's a lot.
We delivered only 100,000.
Well, good luck with the rest of the contract. I'm sorry, I've got a mouthful of cheese, but it's absolutely delicious. Thank you so much for coming in, and we can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I recommend them, excuse me, while I eat and speak at the same time. I'm going to busk it, like the next item says. If you're the type who likes to travel always rushing through the railway station, well, here's something that you might stop for. Network Rail has opened an official busking spot at Leeds Station, giving musicians a stage to shine on. It's the first one outside London. Tom Ingle, like me, is busking his way through this story.
Let's make a start of something great, so we can say this is the start of something great. 'Cause it's our summertime.
This duo might have thought their busking days were over. But even when their vocals might be crashed by a tannoy apology for Leaves on the Line, Leeds favourites, the Dunwells, can still draw a crowd.
Leeds train station looks incredible now, and I think that this step to put live music into the train station is going to be incredible. It allows music culture, everything that is good about Leeds, as soon as people come off the train. So yeah, it's great.
I feel like subconsciously you hear music all around, whether it's in you walk into shops or cafes, but then when you hear a live element of music, it just kind of takes it to the next level. It brings a different energy.
Tired travellers have for the longest time had their spirits revived by the slow sax of Baker Street played at Baker Street, but this is the first time Leeds has been offered officially as a busking venue.
Leeds is the second busiest station in the UK outside of London. Leeds has a fabulous music heritage. You've got tiny venues to big venues, and you've got a huge talent pool of people who want to play. So it was an easy choice to make.
Are there people, though, who prefer not to be bothered by saxophones in the concourse and things like that?
You might have to listen to it for 15 seconds. That's not going to really harm anyone, is it? If you don't like what you hear, you just move on and catch on your train.
I love it. I really feel like it provides a positive energy, around as people are kind of like rushing about. And for those of us who have time to spare, we can stop in and listen.
So you've got about an hour to kill at Leeds railway station.
Yeah, and this is the perfect way to kill it. Live music, nothing
Have you
better.
enjoyed your stay in Leeds?
Oh, so much. It's been beautiful here.
Could you see yourself getting a permit then and coming to do a couple of rounds of Wonderwall?
Possibly, yes, but very busy in my work, so it is difficult.
So you're not about to make a career change into full-time busking?
I'm afraid not, no.
Leeds could be the first of many more Network Rail stations where busking makes you feel good. Even so, we're probably some distance from Metallica live in Mexborough.
Thank you very much.
Tom Ingle, BBC Look North, Leeds.
Entertainment, snacks, what more do we want? These are so good, you're going to love them.
You were lost for words. Maybe you should have a few more while I get on with the
It's got a real kick.
Because I've got some beautiful pictures taken by Brian, our cameraman. He was out and about in Temple Newsham this morning. The Bluebells really are making a fantastic show. So if you've got a bit of time, maybe into this weekend, Temple Newsham woods look absolutely stunning. If you've got any pictures you want to send to me on X, Instagram and the Weather Watcher website, do so. So tomorrow we're off to another beautiful start, lots of sunshine, but unfortunately it will deteriorate. We're expecting cloud and rain to push in during the afternoon, courtesy of this weather system. Then the long heralded first high pressure for 3 months coming across us this weekend. It looks as though there'll be a lot of fine weather. Have to say, it could be one of these cloudy highs, quite a bit of cloud coming around the top, but there will be some sunshine at times, especially in western areas. We've had a few showers, especially in the last few hours, but some bright sunshine. It's been a classic April shower afternoon. Those showers will eventually move away, and then just like last night, it is going to be cold with clear spells, a widespread ground frost, even a touch of air frost, some spots down to -1 or -2 degrees. Tomorrow's high water times in Scarborough 129, Bridlington at 1:52. So it is a chilly, in places frosty start, but it's a bright one, lots of blue sky and sunshine, just some high cloud in places. It stays fine for the morning, but the afternoon a cloudier affair, and we see rain and drizzle sinking down from the northwest after that chilly start. Temperatures eventually up to 12 Celsius, that's 54 Fahrenheit. Tomorrow evening looks cloudy, rain and drizzle only slowly easing away southeastwards. As for Friday, 1 or 2 showers, otherwise mostly dry with some sunshine. Mostly fine this weekend, some sunshine but quite cloudy at times. That's the forecast.
Cow's cheese halloumi wraps there.
They sound fantastic.
They are really tasty. They've got thyme in them and chili.
I'll come and have
Absolutely
one now.
That's it from us. We're going to tuck in. Good night.